somehow here we are 10 years later. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fantastic musicians who constantly provide us with surprises and wonderful music, dangerous music, exciting music, joyful music and sad music that we just can't get enough of.
From Norway, play some different instruments, like some of the worst ones, like banjo and accordion, pedal steel guitar, and I play in the band called Farmers Market. I also have a duo with Ola, which we're gonna play in Lake Junction, and I think the reason I'm here, I met Fiona some years ago when I played in England with my band, Farmers Market, and then we were in the radio show, and she played some of the records, and I've known her since that time, and I think she's doing a very important job for the Norwegian musicians, because we're in that rocky area with all the hillbillies, and it's difficult to get out of there, and you need someone to pull you out. So it's nice for us to see some civilization now and again, and yeah. I think Lake Junction got to me first, but then after I knew about it, I started to listen to it on internet. So I think it's about the things I'm doing. It fits in the program because it's a mix of Balkan styles, jazz and bluegrass and Norwegian traditional folk music. It's like a kind of schizophrenic mix in a nice way, hopefully, and so I hope I'll fit the program.
Of course, nowadays it's so much easier really for listeners to get involved, because you can just email links to MySpace pages and things on YouTube, and even email in MP3s and all that kind of stuff. So that's great, because it means that people listening are actively involved, and really that's a huge part of the programme. And I've been down many roads because people have just given me even a little signpost. So that has really expanded recently. We used to do something called Your Three, which was where listeners could write in with 3 tracks that they thought worked well together, which was a nice thing to do as well, something that maybe we should revive.
There's definitely a world that is Late Junction. When I meet people, they admit to being Late Junction listeners. You can look in the personal columns of newspapers, and in the same way that some people say Radio 4 listener, they also say, oh, Late Junction listener. People like to know that there are other people out there who have as strange a taste as they do.
So how do we get this huge variety of music in the show? It's partly down to the huge interests of our 2 presenters, Fiona Talkington and Verity Sharp, but it's also down to the team of producers, including me, and our own interests and connections. Between us we can pool a huge amount of experience and knowledge of music from around the world. and indeed your average Late Junction is in fact the product of at least two minds, the presenter that night and the producer.
I never actually counted exactly how many CDs I get sent every single week, but I have to say it's a lot. And of course there is that question of how do you actually physically listen properly to all those things. But I suppose after 10 years of doing it, I have a way of knowing the sort of thing that's going to make it onto the programme. I mean, here's a programme that's supposed to have no boundaries, and of course it doesn't really, but we all have personal tastes, and I can pretty much tell what I'm going to like within, I don't know, a few minutes or so of listening to albums. So then I kind of do a short list, and then really it's just a question of sitting down. I have listening days where I spend the whole day with huge cups of tea, just listening to music. But of course then you can listen to music when you're travelling as well, which is great. Take it in the car or put it on your iPod, take it on the train, that kind of thing too. Been co-presenting Late Junction ever since it started 10 years ago, and I think in that time for me it's been a complete musical journey. I wouldn't say that I've got huge amounts of knowledge of any particular music, but I have a great deal of enthusiasm for hearing everything that is new to my ears. So anything that's led me down a new path, I've just followed that religiously. And of course, within that, the listeners have been a fantastic help to me, because they're the ones really that are emailing in and writing in all the time with other things to explore and go and seek out.
They play quite a lot of my music from time to time. They've always been. I just love Late. I just love the. It's my sort. I think it appeals to a lot of people because it blends a lot of things, and that seems to be what people, where everyone's at the moment. And they also play very quiet music and quite out there music, and in a way it sort of took over from John Peel a bit. You know, there's nothing else like John Peel. I mean, I know it's a bit classical oriented, but it allows to be out there a bit in the same way he was. So that's why I listen to it.
I would hate to be too prescriptive about what's going to happen to Late Junction in the next 10 years, other than to say I hope it continues and flourishes, as I think it will. Some of the recent developments have been certainly more in the live music area. We're getting out to festivals now more often, and we've now got this regular monthly studio session. So I think that is an area where we hope to continue to push the edges of the envelope. Who knows where these collaborations are going to lead.